But I can't.
Hello, I'm just testing my mic.
I'm gonna hang up here because I can hear you. So that you are.
Awesome. Thank you, Amanda, for letting me know that you can hear me. It can feel quite lonely here when you can't see everyone here. So thank you so much. I'm just going to go ahead and get started because I've only got about 30 minutes, but please do use the chat window and introduce yourself for me so that I know there's people in the room and I can say hi. I'll give you a few moments to do that. Thank you, Karen. Oh, Karen can't hear me. Hopefully the rest of you can. It might be a mic setting on your part, Karen, because other people can hear me. Okay, good. Thank you. Hi, Andrea. Good to see you. Great. Thank you all. Hi, Greg. Good morning. Yes, Dr. Steve Kong. Awesome. You're here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started. It's really lovely to see you here today for a presentation, a very short presentation on computer science equity, the what, the why, the how. I have got the handouts linked into this presentation, so please do access that. And I do want to add that I have a bit.ly link here, so please access also the bit.ly/stepconcs link. And I know that Laurel will add it to the chat window right now as well. And I just want to introduce myself. My name is Sonal Patel. I'm the Digital Learning Innovation Coordinator at San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools. And here's some of my details here if you would like to contact me after this event or just stay in touch. Got my Twitter account details and my email address. And with me today, I was unable to add her as a co-presenter, unfortunately, but she's here in spirit and she's here in the chat window. My wonderful colleague, Laurel Aguilar-Kirchhoff. She is the Digital Learning Project Specialist. Sorry, I have it wrong, listed wrong, her title listed wrong here. And here's the Twitter details and email address. And let's start with this quote here. I'll have you read the quote on this page. So, computer science reform efforts really require that equity be at the forefront of any reform. And I just want to, note that California Department of Education in 2018 released the California Computer Science Standards, and they were centered around equity. And I'll show you a resource that can link you to that guide as well. But for now, I am going to have you participate in a Menti experience. So, Laurel, if you wouldn't mind adding the Menti web address in the chat window, and you're going to put the code 94, 91, 40, and 3. So it's menti.com, and the code 94, 91, 40, and 3. And I want to make sure I'm on the right slide. I would hate for you to start in a different place. Okay, good, I'm here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come off this slide right now, and I'm going to share my Menti screen. Now I'm going to give you a warning. The Menti screen, as you will see it, will be really small on here. So I want you to know that the results link is right here, right over here on the left-hand corner of this slide. Okay, so you can click on that results link. Hopefully you've got the handouts now and you've got the bit.ly link. So you should be on this slide. But again, it'll be very small on your screen, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Perfect. I always like to see the results pop up on here. So I've got a few people on here. So let's start with, actually, I've got the wrong, I'm not going to start there. Okay, let's start with who we've got in the room. Okay, so you should see this question on your Menti. Who do we have in the room? If you could go ahead and answer that question. Refresh your screen to see the correct question if you could, because that question might not be up on there. And also, this presentation is being recorded so you can access it at a later stage too. Just want to make sure that you can see my screen. Oh, you can't see the screen. Okay, I've just been notified you can't see my screen. So I'm going to go back and see if I'm doing something wrong. Okay, let's try again. I feel like somebody on the back end is helping me right now because I see that something is changing on my screen. All right, so let's try again. There we go. Hopefully you can see my screen now. Okay, so it looks like we've got a range of people in the room. You're answering the question. You still can't see the screen. Okay, so I'll tell you what I can see on my screen. I've got it up right now. I can see that we have many 6 through 12 teachers. And again, you've got the results link. So if you could click on that results link so that you can see the results in real time as well, that will help you out. So you should have one tab with these questions and one tab with the results screen. We've got a lot of 6 through 12 teachers. We've got a few K through 5 teachers. We have some paraprofessionals here. Welcome. 5 coaches and TOSers. I think some of the names I recognize, so welcome here. We've got others in the room as well and an administrator as well. So thank you. Okay, next question. What words come to mind when you think about computer science? I want you to think about what words come to mind when you think about computer science. So you can refresh your screen. It's the same code, and you should be able to respond to that. And it could be anything. There's no right or wrong answer. And I'll tell you what kind of words are coming up, but you should be able to see, if you click on that results link, you should be able to see these results as well. Got confusing, complex, engaging, logical, fun, scary, technology, engaging, logical, software. Well, I'm getting many, many more words coming up. Programming, data, workplace, equalizer. Awesome. So the point of that one was, you know, a lot of people are still kind of, still have this misconception that computer science is just coding, and computer science is so much more than just coding. It involves problem solving, analyzing data, algorithms, computational thinking, and many 21st century thinking skills that we need for the workforce today. So with that, before I go on to that question that I just had up, just take a look at this from the California Department of Education about what computer science actually is and what it's not. Oh, you can't see it. I remember you can't see it. So I will make sure that you've got some of the gist of it, some of the things that I just mentioned, plus that it's not learning how to type or use a mouse. It's not learning how to build or repair a computer alone. It's not just playing video games. Okay, it's about persistence in problem solving, all the workforce skills that you that are necessary. And I've just heard that you can see my screen now. This is awesome. Thank you. Keep reading off screens. Okay, so what do you believe female perception of computer science might be? So this brings me to some of my more equity-related questions. What do you believe female perception of computer science might be? And I'm going to refresh my screen. So that I can begin to see some of your responses. Try again. Okay, here we go. It's just a different way of showing responses. Not many in that career path, boring or hard. There aren't enough of us in CS fields, male dominated, not a safe place for me. Oh, I totally understand that. I want to say it took me a little bit of time to break into the computer science space myself as an adult, as a professional development provider. I completely understand that. Very challenging. Females feel that computer science is a male-dominated field that may not be welcoming. Wow, computer science is difficult. Female perception might be that it's more for men than women. Male field, not for me. Nerds. I like that one. Men alone in a room with no windows, writing code with no personal interaction. That's such a big stereotype of what a computer scientist might look like. Any career area that many females might have been discouraged from pursuing, that's a really good one. There may not be an easy route into the field, male-dominated field. Yep. Dull, yeah. Okay, so I just want to refer back to a very recent, and I'm talking about last week, a recent survey conducted by Gallup and Google, and what their findings were. And what they found was females are not as interested in computer science as males. That might not be a surprise to many of you, judging by your responses, but also that the statistics really haven't changed that much since 2016. So you can see that female perception of computer science is still the same, that they're not particularly interested. They see it more as a male-dominated field, and it's still the case even today. So thinking about today, I want you to kind of think about ways in which we can increase female participation of computer science, and encourage them to pursue a possible career path or education path in computer science. All right, next question. According to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, computing occupations now make up about 1/3 of projected new jobs in STEM fields. Do you think that's true or false? There is no option 3, by the way. Okay, try to trick you on this one. Apologies for that. But it's actually 2/3 of projected new jobs in STEM fields. Okay, so according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, computing occupations now make up about 2/3 of projected new jobs in STEM fields. It's an astonishingly large number. And then according to Google and Gallup, 3 out of 4 Black students are highly confident in their ability to learn computer science. Do you think that's true or false? When we talk about underrepresented minorities, we are largely talking about Black students, about our Latinx students. Okay, you've got 20 people that have put false. This is a good one then in that case, because it's actually true. I know, while we wouldn't think that, there'd be a high level of confidence from our students from underrepresented minority groups, Black students are highly confident in their ability to learn computer science. In fact, they're more confident than white students. And this was astonishing for me because we know that they're confident in their ability to learn it, yet we also know that they may not be able to get access to computer science. We're talking both early on and at high school. They may not be encouraged to pursue computer science careers. There's so many different reasons, and I have a lot of research attached to some of the resources I'm going to be sharing with you today, but I thought that might be a surprising one for you. So according to recent research again by Google and Gallup, and I'm talking again last week, this new research was presented, parents want their children to learn computer science. What do you think? Do you think a lot of these parents that were surveyed want their children to learn computer science? Okay, true. Absolutely. So it's absolutely true. Yes. And it's not just research from Google and Gallup. Code.org conducted some research. KPOR Center conducted research that also showed that parents are highly interested in their children learning computer science, yet they're not seeing it across schools. They're not knowing how to encourage their kids at home to explore computer science. So those are some astonishing statistics that I wanted to share with you as I share with you some of the resources for today. So I'm going to go back here and click on my slides. Hopefully you can see my slides. Okay, so we're not on Menti anymore. You can go back to seeing my screen. Hopefully you can see it. So you may be wondering, and we have a lot of educators in the room, you may be wondering, and paraprofessionals actually, what educators can do. There are a few things that I want to share with you today, and of course, we're not limited to these few things, and feel free to add anything in the chat window that comes to mind in addition to that. I know we have a lot of experts in the room, and you know, you may have something else that you can share with us. So exposing your students to computer science, absolutely. You may not be a computer science teacher, and you may be even pursuing possible pathways in getting teacher certifications or credentials or supplemental credentials in computer science, and I do have resources available for you to be able to check that out. But what you can do is start exposing your students to computer science, and I wanted to let you know that there's some resources linked here. I'm actually gonna, you probably want me to go to it, but if you click on this link here on this particular slide, it will take you to our SBCSS Digital Learning Computer Science page, and right at the very bottom under quick links, it'll give you access to a slide presentation with educator resources on varying different platforms that you can access, you know, in your own time. Like I said, we don't have that much time today, so I'm not going to be able to go through every single one of these resources, but do feel free to access this. It's relatively new. It does have lots of information about different platforms that you can expose your students to. And then we've got the NC WIT and Microsoft Professional Development Guide. I know that when I click on these, it won't show you, and I can't actually click on it through Big Marker, so I apologize for that. But this is an amazing guide that can help really guide your computer science practices in the classroom, both in person and in the virtual environment. And then CSTA, which is the large nonprofit organization for teachers, it's computer science teachers, have wonderful professional development opportunities that are, you know, constantly updated. So you might want to check that out. And then you've got the Winter of CS at California STEAM Symposium coming up in December. They did a wonderful event back in the summer. It was called Summer of CS. And they're going to have a session in December during the STEAM Symposium. So I highly recommend that you attend that. I really like how they really tailored it to educators, counselors, as well as administrators. In addition to that, there's this wonderful csteachingtips.org guide. And what I really appreciate about this is if you're already teaching CS, in particular in high school, middle school or high school CS, there's some great tips on how you can be more inclusive with computer science so that students not only stay within the courses, the computer science courses, but they also are encouraged to pursue possible computer science occupations in the future. And then we've got Join CS for All Teachers. It's the, well, I'm going to just click off this 1 second because I can't actually see the bottom of it. But it's the coalition group that CS for CA have put together. So please do feel free to join that to get access to relevant information. And then administrators, if you haven't heard of the CS Equity Guide, it's a wonderful equity guide put together by CS for CA in collaboration with UCLAX. There's some wonderful people that have worked on this guide, and it truly is a collaborative effort. I know that, you know, my own opinions were asked when this guide was being, this second version of the guide was being developed. So please do check that out if you're an administrator, and do also look at CS for CA, the CS for CA data tool. It's a wonderful tool that tells you about which students are, which schools and school districts are accessing computer science. And then the Strategic CS for All Resource and Implementation Guide. It's a great guide for administrators to think about as you're thinking of a systemic approach into creating computer science experiences. And this planning tool, a Scripts Guide, is also a wonderful tool for you. In addition to that, counselors are really a big part of the computer science work. There's been ample research to suggest that counselors can truly guide students and in terms of recruitment in the CS fields, whether it's through CS education or CS occupations. Counselors have been known in the past, like lots of research has been done to show that counselors may have biases in how they are presenting information to students, and they may suggest computer science careers to boys rather than girls, for instance, to white students as opposed to Black and Hispanic students. So just bearing that in mind and looking at some of the research that is out there and some of the ways that you can, as counselors, can recruit, or you can, give these resources to counselors, can recruit computer science students into computer science is really important. So do check out some of these resources that are linked here. And you might also find this very useful as well, this Careers with Code US magazine that has a lot of different tips and ideas on what you can share with students when talking to them about possible computer science careers. Thank you, James, for sharing some great resources in the chat window. Appreciate it. And then, of course, families. Let's not underestimate how important families are in helping to provide greater access to students. Please check out these resources on this page. We've got family code night activities. Do look at that, because there's lots of free resources that can be sent out to families in developing code, and families and schools and administrators as well as educators that can help you to be able to organize a family code night. There's the STEM family link here that has lots of ideas for STEM related activities that can be done in the home. This CS for All NYC guide is wonderful because it has resources for families that are also translated. And this also includes unplugged activities, which I know many of our families, well, I know I'm looking for, as a mother of two, I'm looking for lots of unplugged ideas right now as they continue to go through their distance learning space. And then there's also this commonsensemedia.org link here, and I put that in there specifically for families to check out some apps and games that are out there in the World Wide Web and on tablets, so that they can see what the reviews are for that. And then this is a huge initiative that San Bernardino County had started last year, and it's the Computer Science Equity Task Force. And so the idea behind that was to get a range of different stakeholders from throughout our county to talks, to start having discussions about CS equity and our vision for this group that is now a combined effort with Riverside County. So it's an Inland Empire CS Equity Task Force. Our vision is for all K-12 students within the Inland Empire to have access to computer science education. And this really does involve meaningful discussions around equity in computer science, strategies and ideas to develop computer science professional learning, and systemic changes needed to provide rigorous and inclusive CS education. The next task force meeting will be on November 5th, 2020. There'll be plenty of opportunities to network and to talk amongst each other. And again, this is an invitation for all stakeholders. We're talking about teachers, educators, TOSIS coaches, administrators, counselors, as well as parents are invited to this event to have those meaningful discussions. And we are using the CS Equity Guide provided by Access CA to be able to guide these discussions. If you'd like more information on the Computer Science Equity Task Force, please contact me or Heidi Baines from the RCOE office for more information. I hope to see some of you there at the November 5th event. And then in addition to that, there's lots of advocacy efforts around computer science equity in particular. And one of the large nonprofit organizations that are doing lots of work around this is Access CA. please do check out that resource that's linked here. And then please do, I know I mentioned it in the educator resources section, but do join the CS4CA Coalition group, because you'll get up-to-date information about efforts around computer science access. And then becoming a member of CSTA, that might be one way that you can advocate for computer science equity. Again, joining the CS Equity Task Force for the Inland Empire. And then here's the research that I have been talking about throughout the Mentee by Gallup and Google Center, and then KPOR Center for research on computer science equity issues. And that brings me to the end of my presentation, just on time. I wonder whether I can quickly just screen share again. Time to share my screen. Hopefully, can everyone see my screen being shared? Okay. Let's see if you can see that. It takes a minute to actually share it, but what I'm doing right now is I'm on the sbcss.net webpage, and I just want to show you where you can continue to get up-to-date information on what our county is currently doing with computer science. If you go to digital learning and check out the computer science education page, you will see some of our efforts, as well as the quick link resources here, and the California Computer Science resources for educators link that I've included here. Though it looks the same as the presentation I just put, I assure you that it is different, and it has all the resources I was telling you about in order to be able to access CS platforms. All right, so I just wanted to make sure that I showed you that before I clicked off it. And I'm going to add it to the chat window too. Yes, I knew somebody was going to ask me that. Thank you. The guest that just asked me that. Thank you again for being here for this very important conversation. If you have any questions right now, please do throw it in chat. We've got about 3 more minutes. And again, thank you so much for being here. And I hope to see you in the next presentation with Laurel for a HyperDoc session. You're welcome. Thank you. That 30 minutes went by so fast. Oh, Laurel's still here. Hi, Laurel. Thanks, Dr. Kong. Appreciate it. Dr. Steve Kong is our CS guru as well. He's done so much in terms of advocacy for CS and really helped me to get into this space. I do want to give a big shout out, because when I first started at the county and started to explore the computer science space, it was very difficult for me, to be honest with you. And you know, Steve really helped me out, helped me to be able to get connected with the right people, and helped me to continue the research. So thank you so much. Mary Elizabeth, so good to see you. Thank you. I hope to see you at the CS Equity Task Force. I know Chris has been a regular member of that task force group. All right, and I hope that you'll be able to get the recording for this as well. Of course. Thank you, Steve. Marcia, you're here. Yay. Great to see you too, Andrea. Thank you. No questions? All right, then enjoy the rest of your time at StepCon 2020, and hope to see you soon.